understanding to network and be with law enforcement, government, and other various officials that we bring to you to exchange ideas, perhaps encourage you to look at being involved in your own communities, perhaps having careers in law enforcement, government careers, and other types of environments. And every month we come here to engage in our dialogue around our tables. We'd like to especially thank not only all the students who participate in this program, but to all the parents. We want to commend you for the understanding to give your student, your child, a better understanding, not only of the internship program, but a better start on life. Because I believe, like some of our special guests will tell you and have reiterated that throughout the month, that this is a network. You now know at least some special guests that you've been having the privilege to be in the company of. And this continues month after month here. Myself and all the special guests that are here certainly enjoy being a part of this network for you to grow and to learn, and for us to have a great gathering friendship together. But if some of you maybe don't know me, my name is Robert Kugler. I am the police chief in the township of Saddlebrook here in Bergen County. I've been the police chief there for nearly 24 years and 34 years of being a police officer. And as you know, I am the somehow spokesman and master of ceremonies for this internship program and many other programs that we have put on here with the United States Law Enforcement Coalition. And I want to thank the board officers and those that are involved with this organization for allowing me to be involved. And I speak also for the special guests who come way out of their way to be here as well, because I know, like me, they enjoy each and every minute, each and every bite of your dinner that you provide for us, and more importantly, the network ourselves of getting to know each and every one of you. So I want to thank the special guests, the parents and the students, and the various other people that participate in our program. Well, we have very special guests again, once again, and I'll name them, and then we will bring them up later as the program goes on to go over their presentations. But this time, once again, State Investigator Ronald Regen from the Department of Consumer Affairs, Attorney General's Office. Ronald, thank you for being here. We have a dear friend of mine who's also been here many times. He's the Executive Director of a program called Law Enforcement Against Drugs, or LEAD, L-E-A-D, which basically prevents and educates young students across the United States about the dangers of drugs and violence. Executive Director, my good friend, Mr. Nick Demauro. Also with me, another good friend of mine. His name is Tom Masters, and just tonight I learned that he is a lawyer. I didn't realize he was a lawyer, but he is, and I knew him previously as a member of the FBI and a special agent in charge, or the highest rank of the federal air marshals here in New Jersey. Been to his location many times, many years ago, and we blew up pots and bombs. But Tommy Masters has gone on to many, many careers. And he is a good friend and supporter, and I want to welcome Tom Masters here. Tommy Masters. Okay, I'm Robert Kugler, but I'm no big deal, so we'll not spend too much time on me. And the Pastor Tim Lee of the True Light Church. Thank you once again, Pastor, for the opportunity to be here in your spiritual guidance. Well, my special friend Nick Demauro has to move on to other places and times. He comes from South Jersey, Belmar, Lake Como, New Jersey, which is basically about an hour and a half away. He's come up here all day to spend the day with me, and I kept him here, and he's got to come up here, and I'll allow him an opportunity to have remarks and talk about maybe a little bit about himself, his organization, and what he thinks about our program. Mr. Nick Demauro.
Thank you, Bob. Well, thank you very much for allowing me to participate again. This is a great opportunity for me it's a little way of staying in touch with the youth, with the community, and understanding how to address the issue that we all face. We focus all year, all day, every day on the issues of drug and violence prevention in communities, not just for children, but for adults also. And it's a unique opportunity to understand that there has to be diversity in who you address and how you address it, and that I've always been raised that everyone is special regardless of who you are or where you've come from. You know, my family came over on a boat from Italy, and we're all in the same boat per se. So I love coming here. I wish I could spend more time tonight, but my wife, I have to meet my wife at 9 o'clock. And yeah, as anyone who knows, once you get married, you know who's in charge. So it's always a process. I'm sure I will see you again. I will be back as many times as you'll have me. And I gave some invitations to Daniel about our gala, which is on November 17th. It's a big fundraiser for us, so if anyone's interested in going to the Westmount Country Club, see Daniel or Bob. And I'm excited about participating. We live in a very crazy world. I guess you've all been following, what happened here in Bergen County last week with the sheriff and some inappropriate comments. And you have to watch what you say and how you say it, especially now I'm looking right at a video camera. So, but you have to, know when and what. And, I'm with Bob because, I'd like to see Bob as the sheriff of Bergen County person. But, yeah, let's hear it. So, I thank you very much for having me. I'm sorry I have to eat and run, but thank you for dinner, and we'll be in touch, and God bless.
Thank you, Dick. Yes, I was telling my table, and I know a lot of my law enforcement people, guests in this room know about the matter, but the Bergen County Sheriff. Bergen County Sheriff is a large organization here in Bergen County responsible for the public safety of nearly 1 million people here in this county of Bergen, most populous county in New Jersey. And he maintains the structure and security of the jail and the courthouse and a lot of other functions. And the sheriff, unfortunately, had to retire, had to resign, and along with his resignation and exit, the 4 undersheriffs. So right now there is no sheriff and no undersheriffs in that agency, and the state of New Jersey, especially Bergen County, is scrambling now to have a special election. This special election is being held November 6th. Myself has put myself in for a candidate. This isn't a candidate speech. But I can tell you that because of my participation in diversity groups like this one and many others, and my strong desire to obtain that seat for many years, I have put my name in the ring. It is a political cycle and process, so there are other hoops and blocks to go through, but I intend to stand strong and move forward. And I can tell you that win or lose, I win, because I'm either going to be the new sheriff or the same old chief. So it really doesn't matter to me. As a matter of fact, it's a pay cut. You go from whatever salary I am today to the sheriff's pay if it happens, and it's actually a pay cut. But it's not because of money. I could have retired many years ago. I would make the same paycheck if I retired, and that was 4 years ago that happened. I'm staying, as a matter of fact, it's costing me money to stay. And once again, it's not about the money, it's about what I love to do. I would not be sitting in this seat and up here talking to you, perhaps if I was retired. So that's why I do what I do, and I do it because I love what I do, and I love to have the ability to network with many, many people and make a difference, especially in young students' lives. So again, I want to thank our Board of Officers. Can I have our Board of Officers stand? Daniel Song, would you stand up, please? I guess where's Doris? Doris, we need you. Come on. Well, thank you very much. Here's our board officers for standing and active participation to make this organization what it is. So at this time, basically, most of you know, we gather once a month and we create an environment for young students who have already researched their topic about what they're going to present. We talk about it in the dialogue that we have at the tables, and then we have those individual students come up here and give those presentations for a 4 or 5 minute presentation, and then we would love to see, and we always encourage dialogue between this group and the student's presentation. So that's what we're going to do. I think we have 4 victims tonight, like we've had every month. So 4 victims, get ready, because you got about 5 minutes. But at this time, I'd like to call upon my dear friend, good friend, Mr. Tom Masters, who, again, is a longtime friend of mine, former Federal Air Marshal, Special Agent, and he'll tell you what he does, but I was kind of intrigued about what he does, and that is that he was in charge of the group, and back then, when September 11, 2001 happened, when the hijackers created a lot of controversy, one of the biggest incidents ever in the United States. Back then, I think he said there was 33 or 4 Federal Air Marshals, and today there's over 4,000 Air Marshals. But these are the people that sit on our airplanes, and you don't even know they're there, and they're watching and making sure that your safety from point A to point B to the United States is done in a safe manner. So he's been doing that for many years, and he's on to a new career, new objectives. But he's always been a friend of law enforcement and diverse community groups like this one, and always willing to participate and be here. And he comes from a distance as well. And at this time, please, I'd like my friend Tommy Masters to come up and talk about himself. Tommy.
Thank you. 안녕하세요. 한국 이름 서웅기입니다. 반갑습니다. I was born in Busan, South Korea, and I'm not going to tell you what year, but I've had a tremendous experience working in law enforcement and being engaged with the community. But tonight, specifically because of this group here, what I would like to talk about is failure. And it relates directly to my background with law enforcement. Because when I was a young man and I aspired to join the ranks of law enforcement, I was living in Wichita, Kansas. And back in 1975, there were no Asian American police officers in the state of Kansas. So I was very interested because I had a mentor. His name was Jim Brook. He was a lieutenant of the Wichita Police Department. And he encouraged me to apply, and I did. And I was so excited because when I walked into the interview board, there were 4 big white guys because they hired for size back in those days. These guys were just unbelievable. What happened? I thought I did very well because I'd been in college, I was in debate, I was athletically very fit, participating in sports, so I thought I really blew away the interview. But then I found out that I had failed. I had failed because they thought I was not mature enough. Well, I was really disappointed. I had failed. First time in my life that I really took this personally. I had failed. It's something that I had endeavored to do. 2 months later, I was called on a Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock by the academy, and they asked if I was still interested in a position in law enforcement. I said, absolutely, I'm interested. I want that job more than anything. Can you show up here in an hour? So I ran down. I went into the interview room. 5 big white guys. And I passed with flying colors. I hadn't matured any more in those 2 months than previously. But what had changed? What had changed to have that board accept me as a candidate for the police department, it was because of one man, a new chief, had taken over. His name was Chief Richard Lemunion, the head of the Wichita Police Department. And he knew the importance of inclusion and diversity. Because Wichita was changing. There was a whole new population of Asian refugees after the Vietnam War who came from Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, and Vietnam. And they needed to have people of color who looked like them, who related with the culture. So I was the first Asian American ever hired by the state of Kansas as a police officer. So I really want to extend appreciation to people like Nick and Chief Kugler here, because it's people like them, Bob, whom I've known for almost 15 years now, goes a long way back, and to Chief Richard Lemunion, a white male who knew the importance of diversity in hiring. And I can tell you, if Chief Kugler becomes the sheriff of Bergen County, and I've known the past few sheriffs and worked very closely together with them, it's examples like this. He doesn't have to say it, he doesn't have to put out a strategy, because for those of us who know Chief Kugler, we know he's all about inclusion, diversity, spending the time he has here. So failure is something that should not defeat us, because we're going to fail at some point in our lives. And if we don't become stronger and affect our environment, then that's going to eat us up, and we will always be failures. After I was on the police department, I graduated first in my class, and then I was promoted to detective in 1 year, it was a fast track, because the chief wanted me to represent the police department, and I did. And I recruited more Asian Americans, and that was the beginning of a whole career of finding an interest in promoting Asians and people of color into careers in law enforcement. So after I worked with the Wichita Police Department, I aspired to be greater than what I was in the police department. I wanted to be a special agent with the FBI. They didn't have these types of mentorship programs back then. And this is back in 1980. And I aspired to become an FBI agent. Well, I found out that the only way you could become an FBI agent, you had to either go to law school or be an accountant. So I was interested in law school. I finished law school in a couple of years, and then was immediately accepted into the FBI as a special agent. What happened with the FBI? Well, I was assigned to Las Vegas, Nevada. That was my first office. And I boarded a plane to work a bank robbery case in Modesto, California. Here I was really proud. I had my FBI credentials, I had my gun, I had everything. So I checked in with a counter and identified myself, showed them my creds, and then I got on the airplane. And then on the airplane, I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, the steward got on the intercom and asked, would Tom Masters please ring his call bell? So I reached up, pulled down the call bell, and the flight attendant ran back and said, oh, I'm so sorry. I told the pilot that the FBI agent moved his seat and there was a Chinese man sitting there. I was furious. I'm Korean, I'm not Chinese. Right? So that's why I am so proud and happy to see all of you here today, and especially with the support of your parents. Because if it wasn't for the parents who are here and encouraging your future and encouraging the life that you have, then we would not be as successful as a community, as an ethnic group, for all of those people who have been empowered through their children, who have become, let's face it, for a lot of Korean parents, to be a doctor or a lawyer. But now, let's look at the benefits of going into careers in law enforcement. I can tell you, when I graduated from law school and I was going into the FBI, I was in the top 10% of the highest paid people that we graduated with. So people who say, oh, you know, I'm gonna be a lawyer and I'm gonna make hundreds of thousands of dollars, well, I'll tell you what, that's not true. Some of the most highest paid people are law enforcement officers, and I think Chief Kugler could attest to that. They can attest to that.
I'm gonna become sheriff.
And I don't have any idea why you would want to take that kind of pay cut. But frankly, you know, when I headed up the Federal Air Marshal Service here in Newark, Federal Air Marshals, anybody want to venture to guess how much they make within 3 years of hiring on? And these are young men and women, 21, 22 years of age. Anybody want to guess how much they're making? Within 3 years. Anybody? Shelley? You have an idea? How much? $500,000? No, I wish. Because I would say good night. No, they're starting, their salary after 3 years, $120,000. If you're 25 years old, that's not bad money. If you're 55 years old, that's not bad money either. And then you can reach a plateau as a journeyman of $160,000. That's not bad. And retire in 25 years, or 20 years, depending on your age. So the career opportunities are tremendous in federal service as well as the local and state. So I don't want to take up any more of your time. I just wanted to express my gratitude for your attendance here this evening. I'm very proud of each and every one of you, and thank goodness for your parents who brought you here and encouraged you, or for those of you who had the initiative to want to do something for your country. Heaven knows, with the current administration that we have in the White House, we need everyone to pull together and to help in changing what's going on. And by empowering yourself through a career in law enforcement, that's the only way we can accomplish that. So thank you for your time and attendance.
Always a pleasure to be in Tom's company. You've been friendly with Tom for many, many years, and I can tell you that you know, he's the real deal. When he comes here and gives of his time, gives of his effort to explain not only the profession but the inclusive and the diversity end of it, he means what he says. So thank you, Tom. Thank you once again. Ron, can we bring you up again one more time? Ron is from the Office of the Attorney General. I didn't tell you what he does, but Ron's been a special guest here for many times. He loves what he does as well. Doesn't do it for money, because he basically loses money on the gas he needs to get here to put in his car. But at this time, please give your attention to my good friend Ron Regen.
It's hell when you have to go after someone handsome, great speaker, great story, and everywhere I go, I'm always after him. But, anyway, my only regret with your organization was I didn't start a year ago. Daniel Song had asked me to come, and it just didn't work out time-wise, but I love this organization. I love the kids. I love the parents. Usually when you speak to youth, they're very timid and shy. Not here. When I sit with you, everybody talks. Last week, everybody was very honest at my table, and I love that. And the people that you're getting now as guests, Tom Masters, myself, the judge, I saw John Page up there. I run into these people everywhere I go because they're people that want to do this. They want to help you. It's the same circuit of people, and these are people that care. I care. And I thank everyone who wrote me. I got many emails from both students and parents, and I appreciate it. And that's what I was talking about, networking. There's a major importance in networking, keeping people for your whole life, reaching out when you need something. It may not be a favor from me, but it may be something that I know or can help you with. So, again, I told you the last time you have a 50-50 shot, ask. The worst I can say is no. Tom Masters is connected to every organization I know, a great person to network off of. Don't be afraid. And anyway, I don't want to keep too long because I know the kids are so anxious to get up and do their speeches. But Anyway, thank you for having me in each month. I really appreciate it. I love this organization. I love the Korean community. I find, particularly in the Asian community, which you're very special people. You're very caring and considerate. Thank you.
Thank you, okay, at this point, we need to start our program. Basically, we're gonna allow our students to come up and do their student presentations, and once again, we give them 4 or 5 minutes to give a presentation, and then we hammer them with questions and comments, and hopefully have great dialogue afterwards. So, our first presenter